Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about research. First we shall see about what is research. Actually, research is a systematic or organized process of investigating a study or analyzing a topic to discover certain new information, to establish facts or research new conclusions. Actually, for that we need to have a clear planning and data collection and interpretation to solve the problems of a particular topic. Next we shall see about the feature of research. These are all the various features of research. The first one is systematic. Actually, the research is a systematic process. For that we need to have a certain plan. Without plan the research cannot be done. So research follows a systematic planned method. Second feature is objective. So without planning and objective we cannot do a research. For doing a research we need to have a certain objective. That objective should not be personal objective or bias. It should be for a common interest. Next feature is evidence based. Always a research should be based on the evidence. The researcher should not come to their own conclusions. Always the research is based on or relies on facts and evidence. We are going to collect certain data. We are going to collect data and we are going to put it in the statistical tools and find certain data. So the solutions should be, or our interpretation must always have an evidence. Next one is problem solving. The researchers is selecting the objective. The first we have seen it is a systematic process. So we have planned a certain thing. Second one is we will be determining the area what we are going to do a research. That is going to be the objective. With that objective we are going to determine or we are going to find a solution for certain problems. So always research will be a problem solving process. It is a process of finding out answers for certain questions. That is known as research questions. After this objective, the next we are going to find out we are going to frame the research questions based on the research objectives. For that research questions, we will be finding out the solution. That is known as problem solving. Next, repeatable. The research should be a repeatable process. Example, if a researcher is doing a research and find out a solution, the same solution should be derived if some other person does the same research with the same data. So the solution cannot be differ from person to person. So always research, if it is going to be repeated, answer must be the same. That is known as researchable. So these are all the various features. First one is systematic, objective, evidence based, problem solving and repeatable. Next we shall see about the types of research. So first type of research is basic or pure research. So it is also known as basic research or fundamental research. Actually this research is done to gain a knowledge or to sake of itself. So in order to gain additional knowledge, we are going to know about certain thing. If we are going to do a research with a scientific method, that is known as a pure research or basic research. Next one is applied research. So what is an applied research? The research where we are going to apply in a particular incident and we are going to solve or we are going to derive a solution. That is known as applied research. So to solve a specific problem or a specific find a specific solution for a certain problem. Example have given, researching a way to reduce the traffic. So there is a traffic. We are going to find out a solution how to reduce that traffic. So that is known as applied. We are going to apply in a practical situation. Next, based on the methodology, the research is classified as first quantitative research. Quantitative means a research should be a measurable thing. With the use of statistical data, numerical data, we may be collecting a various data. With that data, if it is measurable, that is known as quantitative data. Next, qualitative. So all the factors cannot be quantifiable. Some of the factors like customer satisfaction, brand loyalty, These are all the factors which which cannot be measured. So that kind of research is known as qualitative. This is known as qualitative research. For this qualitative research, the tools used is interview techniques, focus groups, and content analysis, where we can understand about the customer's loyalty or satisfaction level. Qualitative data. Next one is mixed methods research. It is a combination of both qualitative and quantitative. In most of us in social science study, we are going to use both mixed research. We will be handling some qualitative data and quantitative data. That is known as mixed research. Next is based on the time frame, the research can be classified into cross-sectional research, which means we are going to find out a solution for a particular point of time. That is known as cross-sectional research. We are going to get a survey of customer feedback during the product launch of a product. That is known as single point time research. Next one is longitudinal research, which prolongs for a long period. That is known as longitudinal research. So the study is conducted for a repeated time is known as longitudinal period. Example, if you are going to study about performance of a product, so you are going to select a sample of about 10 employees or 10 customers. So with the repeated data collection for multiple years, 1 year or 2 years, you are collecting the data and doing a research. That is known as longitudinal research, prolonged period. Next, based on the nature of data collection, the research can be classified into descriptive research. So descriptive research means we are going to find out the characteristics of a population. There will be a population. With that population, we are going to find out the characteristics of population. We use a descriptive. We are going to describe. Next is exploratory research, which means already there will be certain knowledge. There will be certain information that cannot be sufficient information. So in order to find out more information, we are going to explore new things. That is known as exploratory research. Next one is explanatory research, which means we are going to find out the cause and effect, why this is going to be happen. So if it happened, what will be the cause? So for this we are going to use regression analysis as a statistical tools. So explanatory research means we are going to find out the cause and effect. Next, based on the study area, the research can be classified as such. First one is social research. So if you are going to study about the human behavior and cultural heritage, so for that social cause, that is known as social research. Next one is market research. So we are going to study about consumer satisfaction, perception and market trend of a product. For that market analysis, we can use market research. Next, scientific research. It is a complete scientific body of knowledge. With the use of experiments and scientific methods, we are going to do in a research that is known as scientific research. Next is historic research, which means we are going to investigate past data. Already that would have been done. So investigating the past events, that is known as historic research. Next one is legal research. So always studying about the various laws, legal systems and case studies, that is known as legal research. Next we shall move on to the next topic as sampling. So sampling is a process of selecting a small sample from a large population. So research can be done, the research cannot be done to a whole population. So population means a whole universe or area where we are going to do the research. So in order to represent that population, we are going to select a certain small unit which is known as sample. The sample will represent the whole population. So first, these are the key terms in sampling. First one is population. As I said earlier, the complete set of individuals or items of interest. The whole universe is known as population. In that population, we are going to select a subset, representative set, which is known as sample. That is known as sample. A subset of population selected for the study. The whole population cannot be studied. It will be a very time process and costlier process. So in order to derive this solution, we are going to select a sample. The sample must be representing the population. Next one is sample frame. So the population may be having various elements. So we are going to draw a certain elements, that is known as sample frame. That's selecting the certain elements of population from which the sample is drawn is known as sample frame. Next is sample unit. So sample unit is a single element or group of element considered for the selection. So in this sample frame we are going to select a unit known as sample unit. Next we are going to see about the meaning of sample design. So sample design refers to the framework or a plan followed to select the sample from the population. So it helps, the sample design helps what is the sample frame or what is the sample we are going to select from the population. First we need to determine the, already we have seen the feature, in that we have seen about the research is a systematic process. So second one is objective. So we are going to determine the objective. We need to determine the population. With that population, what is the sample we are going to select? For that, sample design helps. So these are the questions we need to answer. First one is how many units to be selected. So in a population, what are the units we are going to select? It should represent the population. Second one is which technique we are going to use. There are various techniques further we are going to see. Next, how data will be collected. Next, steps in sample design. The first step in sample design is defining the population. So what is the population? And we need to define the population. Next, determine the sample frame. Already we have seen. So creating a list from which we are selecting the sample. Next, select the sample method. There are two types of method, probability and non-probability method. We are going to select what is applicable to our research and we have to select that method for the research. Next, determine the sample size. So based on the budget, time and research, we can select the sample size. If your sample size is huge, it will be more costlier and time consuming also. So based on a time, budget and required accuracy, if you are going to have a huge sample, the accuracy will be high. If a population is a huge population, it must represent the population. So sample sizes to be selected to know the accuracy of the research. It is very important. Next one is execute the sample process. So choosing the sample and collection of data, it's also a very important. We are going to see it. So next we are going to see about the various types of sampling methods. There are two types of sampling method already we have seen. One is probability sampling, another one is non-probability sampling. First we shall see about the probability sampling. So what is probability sampling? Which means giving a chance to selection of each unit in a population. We are going to give equal chance of selecting each unit as a sample. So if you are going to determine a population as 100, we are going to select the sample as a 50. So the 50 sample should be given equal chance for all 100. That is known as giving an equal chance for selecting a particular sample. So these are the various types of probability sampling. First is simple random sampling, which means we are going to give an equal chance to all the population to be selected as a representative of a population. That is known as sample. So it is a subset. So every unit has an equal chance. Example, if you are going to, our population is 100, we are going to select a sample as 50. So we are going to write all 100 names in a bowl and selecting a randomly 50. That is known as simple random sampling. So all the 50 all the 100 will have an equal chance of being selected as a sample. So that is known as simple random sample. Next is systematic sample. So we are going to select certain criteria as every nth number. Example, you are going to select every first one, every 10th one, or every second one as a sample. So every nth item as is selected, that is known as systematic. Then we are going to follow a certain systematic order in order to derive or to obtain the sample. That is known as systematic sampling. Next one is stratified sampling. So in stratified sampling, the population is divided into subsets or small stratas or groups. They are going to be grouped according to the income level or age groups, etc. So after that we are going to select a sample, that is known as stratified sampling. Next one is cluster sampling. So cluster sampling means we are going to classify the groups into small clusters. After classifying the population to cluster, we are going to select the sample from each cluster randomly using a simple random, that is known as cluster sampling. Next we shall see about the non-probability sampling. Non-probability sampling. So in non-probability sampling, we may not be given equal chance to each and every every sample to be selected as a representing the population. So most in the social science research, we will be using, many of us will be using non-probability sampling. The first one is convenience sample. The name itself says convenience. So for research it will be easy to collect data. So based on easy availability, survey methods using friends or relatives, we are going to have a convenience method, that is known as convenience sample. There will be no any stratified random, or there will be no any clusters, there will be no any stratas, or there will be no any calculations of nth number to be selected. So we are based on the convenience, we are selecting a sample is known as convenience sampling method. Second one is judgment sampling method. So the researcher will have a certain basic judgments. He can be a respondent, he cannot be a respondent. Based on his researcher's knowledge, he is framing a judgment and selecting the sample. That is known as judgment sampling. Based on the researcher's judgment, he is selecting a sample is known as judgment sampling. Next one is quota sampling. So already predefined quotas will be given. Example, we need 100 sample. For that 50 must be male and 50 must be females. Okay, that is known as quota samples. We are going to give a quota for age groups. It can be income groups or age groups or males or females, etc. So next one is snowball sampling, used for hard to research. If you are not able to collect data, we will use snowball sampling. So example, I will give an example. If you are going to study data about drug users, so no one will be knowing about the drug users. If you are going to find one person, he may suggest he is using the drug. So by the chain link, you are getting a data, that is known as snowball sampling. So these are all the various characteristics of good sampling design. It must represent the population. Second one, it should be efficient. Third one, it should be flexible, and it should be accuracy. So these are all the various things in research we have seen. Thank you. Next we shall continue in our next class.